So one thing that I've stuck to over the last decade in terms of lifting is linear periodization. I swear by it. I think it's very simple. It's not rocket science. It's very straightforward and easy to follow. But with linear periodization, basically start at a very light rep range, and it takes me about 6 months to build up to a heavier rep range and then peak. So ultimately in a year, ideally I'm only peaking in strength 2 times. Only in the last year have I been lifting constantly heavy, but that's because I've had contest after contest after contest. But I've gotten to that point where that's what I do. I'm a professional strongman, so I have to maintain my strength and slowly build it now. Whereas in the past, I basically spent a month at a 12 to 15 or even 20 rep range. Very controlled motions to build strength evenly throughout my motions, to build up tendon strength, ligament strength, and endurance as well, and learn the control and technique of whatever motion I'm doing. So I allow myself to stay light enough to be able to video myself and watch exactly where I might have any dark spots or weak spots in any given motion. And then the following month, I again decrease the rep range, increase the weights, work with 10 to 12 repetitions. Following month, 8 to 10. Following month, 6 to 8. And then I go into more powerlifting style workouts, which are 5x5s. And then maybe 2 months out from a show, I start to really overload my nervous system, and I would start to do overloaded eccentrics. And I believe this is what's shot up my strength more than anything. But you could only do this a handful of times a year, because otherwise you're just gonna completely reach a plateau and rip your body apart, because you can't be your body does not recover by lifting heavy weights. Your body recovers the most through lighter weights and easier work. So again, 2 months out from a show, I start to overload my body, do heavy eccentric work where I load up 110% of what my presumed max would be, and start to lower these weights in 10 to 15 seconds. So if it's a deadlift, I'll pick it up off a rack, and I don't bring it back up again. I'll be basically lowering it 10 to 15 seconds, and I'm basically getting my nervous system, my musculature used to every single angle of that motion, that tension. And because it's the eccentric, your body can, I don't know, I quite understand the science of this, but your body actually produces greater force than an eccentric. Your nervous system lights up more than during a concentric. So you get the proprioception at a much deeper and better level than you would if you just train concentrics. So then, after I've overloaded my body with lots of isometric, eccentric, overloaded work, 1 month before the show, I actually put it into use, and then I start to really push my numbers, slowly building up to that heavy 1 rep maximum that then I perform on the day of the show. And then I rinse and repeat. And I've been basically doing this my entire lifting career. When I was just in my 20s, when I was 20 years old, I think my best deadlift must have been around 600 pounds. Actually, I didn't even test my maximum until I was 23. So I would basically calculate my maximum. My heaviest range would have probably been around 3 reps. I tested my 3 rep maximums. All the way up until I became a pro strongman. It was 3 rep maximums. Only a handful of times I actually tested my max on anything. So right around 20, I was hitting 500 pounds for sets of 6 to 8 on deadlifts, mid 500s for triples. Around 21, it went up to triples with 600s. 23, finally started getting to that 700 pound range. This is when I finally tested my 1 rep max for the first time in my life. I hit 700 pounds after failing it a couple times. And then it went slowly up from there. And right when I was 24, 25, I finally hit 750. 26 jumped up from 750 to 850 just because I've been so patient and just building up my base, not rushing to push for those single reps. My body was just ready to really explode when I finally introduced that insanely heavy lifting. And then just last year, I was able to hit a personal best of a 975-pound deadlift. But it was a very, very slow, patient road up to it. I could probably count on my hands how many times I've actually attempted single rep maxes in my training. It's most of my work is through controlled repetition work and building control, building my technique, building my awareness rather than pushing what I can do. So that's been my long progression to where I am. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer. Thank you.